Welcome to yet another episode of Unfiltered Talks with Shahnaz Mirza. According to WHO, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is one of the most common mental disorders. It affects 5 to 8% of children, mostly boys, and often lasts into adulthood. My guest for today, Safiya Mohammed, is a passionate special educator and a dedicated instructional coach with a strong foundation in education and special needs support. She holds a background in teaching and has gained deep expertise through years of hands-on experience in training regular and special needs educators for facilitating children with ADHD who require special care for their unique needs. Her approach blends empathy, practical tools, and modern methodologies, making her a trusted voice in the field of professional development and children-centered education. Welcome to the show, Safiya.
Thank you, Ms. Mirza. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. Now, we back in the days knew ADHD as maybe somebody running about, bobbing about, and fussing about for things. What exactly is it, ADHD?
ADHD, commonly known to be attention deficit hyperactivity disorder or attention deficit disorder. Here comes the scenario if we go back, as you said, the decades ago. Children who often don't follow instructions, who are very hyper, are termed to be very naughty or spoiled. But the thing is, back in those days, we didn't know what it is. But now, with all the changes in sciences, we are able to diagnose them.
For a person, say maybe a parent, how is it that she would first of all try to understand if her child has something like this, something like ADHD? What are the symptoms? What should she look out for?
Well, it is not just like a slight medical treatment of fever or cough. This is something very different. I will go ahead and associate a child with ADHD with a TV remote. As you probably saw that when the battery of the TV remote doesn't work,
Correct.
no matter how many times you keep pressing, it just either goes very fast or either just stucks. So you can consider that as ADHD child. You give an instruction to a typical child. Let's say that, all right, go ahead and sit down. And then you have a child with ADHD. Go ahead and sit down. They're going to go ahead and run around in the class and not follow.
Okay.
So when we talk about parents, a very, very easy example, going to a supermarket and the child is fighting for sweets, especially, or whatever they like. And you give an instruction, no, we are not buying that. And you probably have seen in your children or any common child, they would lie down on the floor and they will have a beautiful meltdown, embarrassing the parents. That is the first sign.
Getting their hands, legs all over the place and not listening. Okay, that is the first sign.
Yes. And if it is consistently happening, that is when it's a red flag.
Yes. So if they see that happening every now and then with their children, that's when they should pay attention to that, thinking that, okay, that it's ADHD. All right. Now, is there just one type of attention deficit disorder or are there various types?
There are various types. Now, taking back to your last sentence that this could be an ADHD.
Correct.
This wouldn't be an ADHD. This would be a symptom of ADHD. Alongside with 3 basic stuff. Hyperactive, always. Impulsive. And third one goes ahead with combination of inattentiveness. So when we talk about hyperactive, let's say we have a beautiful set here and we are sitting and you have a child with ADHD and would want to go ahead and pull the camera, come and tell you what is this, or say that I want to put YouTube on top. You will never see them sitting.
They want to constantly engage. They want to do something, pull this, pull that, get themselves engaged. Okay. The second type.
The second type is impulsive. And impulsive is where in the classroom, if I say you that you ask a question to a child, or you're just basically asking that, all right, today, do you think it rained? And they're a group of children and you're still asking a question. And in between, they will just say, yes, no, impulsiveness. They're not going to sit. And again, if I take you an example of house, and you have just said that, okay, today we're going to surprise Papa. So just be quiet. So the moment that comes in, we have a surprise for you.
They're not even waiting. They will just disclose
They're
everything.
very impulsive.
Very impulsive.
And the third one comes the combination where they are inattentive.
Okay.
So this specific personality is more going to be labeled as lazy and dull in studies, doesn't want to do anything.
Okay.
So this also comes like, oh, no matter how much we provide them with studies, they don't want to focus.
Okay.
The thing is, here, the wires of the brain are totally different. It's not just as a typical child.
Okay.
So you have to go ahead with a different approach.
Okay.
But unfortunately, we just label.
You just label. And are they allowed to go to a normal school like others, or is there a reason that you should not, or is there something behind it that you should send them to a special school or something like that? Is that...
The thing is, ADHD is not something related to them not doing good academically.
Okay.
They can be very brilliant, bright, could do amazing, which we can't do.
Right, yeah.
So, yes.
Thanks for clarifying that, because a lot of times people would maybe think ADHD, he's naughty, he doesn't listen, beat them up, he's not willing to just, put them on the side, he's not getting good marks, what is he doing in school? So they label that child as somebody useless, somebody having no mind, So that all is a myth, basically. Is that what you're saying? Okay. Yes. And on the contrary, you're saying that they could be very brilliant. Okay.
So here, when we talk about whether they can go to the normal school, a typical school or not,
correct.
Coming here is what are their needs?
Right.
So once we say a child is having combination of disabilities, then that is different. But if the child is only having ADHD, that's not a problem. It's just a different approach. Now, again, the teachers have to be trained.
Right.
How to go ahead. And several schools, they provide a shadow teacher. As you know, shadow teacher. The teacher is like a shadow behind the child, following various strategies. They're specially trained.
Okay.
But in some schools, it's not like that.
It's not like
so that is when they're not able to cope up.
Yeah. And normally children like this, how would their peers, how would they react to it? If you have a shadow teacher, then the others might wonder, what's wrong with him? He has a teacher following him everywhere. And they might make fun. They might bully him. They might say, look, you're naughty. What have you done? The teacher's going all over the place with you. So can that even be handled in a way that the child also does what he has to do? He's not bullied. He's not labeled. He's not pointed fingers at. Is there a way to balance that somehow?
Well, this I would tell children bullying the other kids who are having shadow teachers, etc. This is because of the lack of awareness in the society. So even I have seen certain parents who will come and tell the teacher or tell me, don't make my child sit next to that child because my child is learning all the naughty stuff.
Yeah.
Again, there's an approach.
Correct.
So the class teacher should be able to be in the classroom.
Correct.
So dynamic throughout.
Right.
Try to involve that child in all the normal activities rather than just keeping him away with the shadow teacher.
Correct. Okay. Now, if we look at the factors, are there any factors that cause ADHD in a child? Or is it birth given, he's just born with it? Or what is it? What are the factors that lead to ADHD?
Well, by now, as we have seen how sciences have advanced in the world, but yet the cause is still a question mark. There are various causes, not an exact one cause. Number one, I would go ahead with, according to WHO, the first thing is the genetic cause.
Okay.
It's more onto if you have consanguineous marriages, etc. If you go in depth. And then the second one is psychological factor.
Okay.
Psychological factor, maybe the child already has anxiety.
Okay.
Or probably has a sibling with the same scenario. And the third one, environmental factor. Environmental factor as in the surroundings could be a problem. As you see now, it's more onto the screen time.
I've seen this nowadays when I go to a restaurant and the child, just to get the parents off them, they're constantly on the screen and they're not eating. If you even ask the child, eat something, take away the screen, they're yelling, they're shouting, they're showing, I don't want to eat, showing all those kind of things. So that's a part of ADHD as well. Okay. Now, in terms of the process to diagnose it, how easy it is, or what is the process? How can one diagnose it? And then after that, what is the process in terms of maybe working out something to treat the child or to deal with the child in a way that is win-win for both, for the parents, for the child, and even for the special needs educator who's trying to get the best of the child?
The thing is, when we go ahead with the diagnosis, as I said to you, the scenario of ADHD begins at home. Being a mom or a dad, you can actually check the signs and symptoms which are not consistently normal as it should be.
Okay.
Though you try your best to label it, no, he's just stubborn, no, he's just my single child, no, he's spoiled. But the thing is, once they go to school, and that becomes a problem to the teacher.
Right.
And within 15 minutes, they go ahead and collect the data, or they will go ahead and approach the parents that, look, this is what the problem is. Even for making a line, it would be a problem, when you're going to assembly or you're going to a snack or something, they don't follow instructions. So the teacher would just collect the data.
Right.
If not specifically like how I would collect the data, they might just say, oh, he's very naughty, not following instructions. Or a head of department calls you and says, change the school. This was during my days. But now, the best thing is the counselors will get to you and say, we need to talk. These are the things which we are facing in school. And by God's grace, the best thing is we need help. And that is when you have to go ahead to a doctor.
Right.
So we have a factors of medical factor, psychological factor, and then the associated whatever they want.
Okay.
So when you go to a doctor, let's say any pediatrician, and explain this is what I'm facing, and they might say, okay, maybe. None of us can label without screening. So maybe it could be. So let's go. Let me give you a referral to a psychologist.
Okay.
So you go ahead to a psychologist. They do the screening and assessment. Sometimes the children with ADHD might not cooperate in just one screening. They might break it into parts because they might get agitated and fit. So the second thing, once the psychologist comes up to a conclusion, they give you a management plan. Maybe the child would need behavior therapy, the big thing.
Correct.
And then that plan, the behavior therapist will share with the class teacher, or the parent will share with the class teacher.
Correct.
A combined support can only help the child.
Correct. So in terms of parents, now to disclose this to parents, how big a challenge is this? Because like every other parent, like even maybe if I was told, my children, they were normal. I don't think they were ADHD. But parents do not like to be told that, your child has ADHD. Look, you need to do this, or we have a plan made. How do you disclose that? And how to the parents? And how do the parents then agree to kind of cooperating at some stage? How is that difficult, or how easy is that, I would ask?
Well, parents have always been a challenge.
Correct.
So again, in parents, I can say 80%, 20%. I will never say 50-50.
Okay.
You will have 80% of the parents in pure denial. And you have 20% who are cooperative with the teacher or the team and say, let's make a change. When I talk about 80%, again, as you gave an example, even I have a baby, and if there is any problem like that, I wouldn't accept even if I'm a professional. That's a basic thing. Why should I label my child?
Yeah, exactly.
I would rather say he's naughty or something.
Yeah,
so when it comes to a proper paper diagnosis written on the paper, he's having ADHD, your heart doesn't accept it.
Yeah.
Internally, you know what's happening, but you don't want to accept.
Right.
Acceptance is number one problem with the society around who's going to say what.
Right.
But it's your child. You need to choose.
Yeah.
The 20% which I'm talking to you about, they don't care about the world. They say, all right, the child has ADHD. All right, Ms. Safiya, what do we do now?
Great, yeah.
So it is a challenge. And I always love if we can do awareness programs around in schools, at least once a year, annually, or every term. So the parents, no matter what, should know how to accept. Lack of acceptance is again going to affect the child in various ways.
I think the most important part that you mentioned, that awareness is to be created, it's necessary, and to let them know that this is not something that the child is stupid or silly, or that the child does not have any mental complete, he's not off track, and he could be brilliant or intelligent on the other hand. But yes, the way he takes instructions doesn't match, as you mentioned. So that is something that we need to bring out.
Definitely. Yeah. If I give you an example of our days.
Yeah.
I was very weak in math.
Right.
So when we go, the teacher is explaining fractions.
Right.
And I would not understand what is 1/2, 2/2, what is she even saying? And then they are doing equations and I'm still in 1/2 of pizza cutting into half and half. And unfortunately, it wasn't really addressed properly.
Correct.
And my parents were more on to you should stop watching TV, do fractions. to a point where I hated school. So we had one teacher who actually made me do in a concrete basis. You do it, you see, like make parts of various things, and that's how we understand fractions.
Correct.
So I always say the child can do a lot. It's just the approach.
Correct. Yeah, very true. Yeah. I do remember when there was one of my sisters who used to come to me and I used to teach her. And I remember teaching her ratio, which is very similar to that. And it made sense to her. She said, yeah. So that is something that the educator or the teacher should be the one to be able to, decipher that well.
True.
Now, let's look at the other side. We've seen parents, we've seen an educator. As a child who has this, how does the child accept this? Now, if it's very little, 5-6 years, it's just difficult. How do you even try to explain to the child, or how do you handle that kind of a child?
Well, I would never say the child you're ADHD.
Of course. Yeah.
But unfortunately, parents and the backgrounds we come up from, again, 80-20% ratio, which I said the 80% are going to be like, oh, you have this problem, and then continuously criticizing the child. And the child does nothing but keep sunking inside, thinking that I'm good for nothing. Rather, you can say that, look, child A can understand like this, but you are child A plus. You understand in another way.
Different way. Correct.
So that's how, most of the children have issues with multiplication.
Correct.
And then when I came, my background where you used to keep mugging up 1 ones are 1, 1 twos are 2. But here it's more onto grids. You can go ahead with various blocks. Approaches are different. As I said, why I always say math is because math is a difficult subject.
Yeah.
Now, even we talk about reading and other subjects, the child, you don't have to tell the child that this is the problem. Why don't you just change the approach? I have seen many parents who say, go study, but the child doesn't know how to study.
Right.
You have to teach the child how to study.
Yeah. So in this case, it's very, very important that there's cooperation from the teacher's side, from the parent's side, and then they can get the child to do everything that you want eventually. Okay, great. So that part of it is handled. Now, in terms of society, okay, there is not much awareness. We know that. But besides that also, is there anything that people normally say, or they try to, attack or label or things? And then how does one handle that, especially if there are parents who are watching? And I mean, you can't block every person and just sit at home, close yourself in. Yeah. The child will go out to play. The child will meet with children. So for parents, what are the words? What should they say, in those situations? Because you're an expert, so you should give this to, so that viewers would know, what to tell the neighbor lady who's saying that, oh, your child is doing this, is doing that, is something wrong with it? How to keep their mouth shut now?
The thing about the society is you can never make them happy.
Right.
Even if you die, they're just going to tell you, oh, they should have died like that. I'm just telling you in a very worse way you can imagine. But the thing about children is competition, result-oriented society. But compared to the previous decades to now, the parents are accepting. It's no more a stigma. And parents are accepting in a nice way. But when you see, not everybody is same. Everybody is unique in some way. And you will have one particular auntie who's going to say, my child scored 100 on 100. Congratulations. Thank you.
That's it. Yeah.
You don't have to care.
You don't have to say much.
No, it's not a race. It's your child at the end of the day.
Right.
Even if he gets 5 out of 10, he got 5. So it's in that way. So when it comes to society, again, as I say, it's lack of awareness. But some of the people deliberately wants to hurt you by saying your child is not good for this because it's going to hurt you. So try to avoid such groups. Why don't you go ahead and make a nice play group for your child who has similar issues?
Right.
And then you work on together.
Right. Okay.
And then go ahead with play dates, which I would do with my nephews. Like if they are not good with reading, I would go ahead and do a phonic party.
Okay.
Or a color party. Or you just tell your friends, hey, get blue basket or red basket, introducing colors in another way.
Okay.
Phonics, let's stick to some specific sounds. You get my point? Okay. So it's like a sponge, the toxicity is like a sponge. The more you keep in, the more you soak.
Okay.
So don't be a sponge.
Don't, Look for your kind. Look for the people who are positive, who encourage, who want to be with you and who have similar concerns. You can kind of make it easier with them or, Okay, great. Now, Coming to adults, we've looked at children. How is it different with adults? And do adults face this all through their lives if they are ADHD? Or is there some point where they kind of change and they relax and, things are different with them?
See, with the upcoming, advancements in life and science, I always go ahead with this line. We self-diagnose ourselves. If you see the decades ago, we had parents who would always criticize us. So that criticism came. And then now when you don't do anything, you Google. And then it may be a sign of ADHD. And then you just self-diagnose. Don't do that. I know somewhere we all have it.
Correct.
Like let's say an adult has started doing a laundry. And between the laundry is like, oh, I think I should call somebody for maybe groceries. You're going to call the grocery store. Then in between, you're going to go ahead. Oh, I had to clean. There's a lot of disorganization in adults. And this is basically nothing, but it was never diagnosed before. Because again, we were lazy or naughty or useless.
Then to that extent that even I would have ADHD because I keep jumping from one task to the other, sometimes without completing one task.
We all have some of the other symptoms. And for adults nowadays, it's best that they are seeking for therapy. Because ADHD is like a racing brain. It's not going to take any break. And you might feel with that anxiety. So when you go ahead with the therapy sessions of anxiety, automatically you calm down. Some people, I would say children, some people would require therapy or even medication, depending on how disorganized or how horrible or competitive life they have. Because you just make your life like that.
Right.
And you need help. That's it. Yeah. It isn't a shame to go for therapy in adults.
Of course not. Yeah, we all need it. Just like we need to... if the body is suffering from something, we go to a doctor, we get it diagnosed, checked, and then we try to see the treatment for it. So also for something like this.
Yes.
Now, I'd like to conclude in a positive way. So if you had a case study or if you had somebody, I don't want to mention the child, but tell us if as you were dealing with the child and eventually the child did well, he progressed, can you share some story like that where we all can, see that handling such children benefits them at the end and they come to a nice, positive result-oriented conclusion.
The thing is, being a teacher, being a special educator, I have seen a lot of children with this.
Right.
And one specific case of mine was a brilliant 6-year-old girl in early intervention.
Okay.
Amazing with math, reading, but couldn't handle herself. Who would be fidgeting, shaking the feet like this, and wouldn't be sitting in the circle time. And the best thing which I did is I would appreciate my team for that. Right. We had a brilliant meeting with the center head and the team. So here the team involves the speech therapist or OT or, behavior therapy. So here it was more dominant on behavior therapy and occupational therapy because the child isn't able to sit.
Right.
So the child needs some help. It's again deep-rooted with sensory processing disorder.
Okay.
So what we did, we made a management plan that in circle time, the child is going to sit on a wobbly chair, which is more onto a spiky pillow, and then they can keep moving. They don't have to sit like this. The other kids are sitting on their own chair, and this particular child is sitting on a wobbly chair. And that is giving her a nice stimulation that, it's nice, I'm having fun, and I'm involved in all those activities. Then when I saw that she gets very irritated when the tasks are very big. So if I give her a sheet of addition, or if I give her a sheet of missing numbers, she was very good with math, so we went till addition and subtraction as well. So missing numbers, and then if she would see that 1 to 30, Miss Safiya gave me so many, I don't want to do it, I don't want to throw it away. So we broke the task. The sheet didn't change. I came ahead with the timer. So we get the little timers, and you fix the time that, hey, babe, we're going to do this. Is that okay, honey? Yes. So the timer goes ahead for a minute, and she's very fast. She would go ahead and, I finished, Miss Safiya. And then you go for the other task. So breaking the task into smaller tasks and using timers, appreciation, and breaks. Now, if the child is very disturbed and requires some support, you can always speak to your occupational therapist as well and then give them some sensory break. That calms them down. And there's no way I can say you that child is not doing well in mainstream.
Wow.
She's having shiny stars. Doesn't even require a shadow teacher.
Wow.
Because the class teacher is following it. And again, as we conclude, I would say that there's lack of awareness even now.
Wow.
And lack of acceptance even now.
Right.
So there should be, I would say, all the parents that don't go and say, I don't want my child to sit next to that child.
Yeah.
How about you teach the child that the child is a little unique? Let's support them.
Yeah, that's a nice way.
It's a change
Definitely.
of mindset.
Yeah.
And then you see how they flourish.
Yeah. Great. One last, something came to my mind, so I will ask you. Did you eventually find in any of these kind of children, these special, unique children, that there is some kind of a superpower and that brightened them later on, that you realize, wow, he's so intelligent, he's unique, he's special, but on the contrary to what people thought, he's so intelligent?
The thing is, these children can be even gifted. They can do something more amazing than you can ever imagine. So I had many cases as such, where the child was amazing with academics, but the parent, it was from one of my family friend itself, who would say that, this child, other brothers are so good, but why this son is like that? But when they worked on his hyperactivity, they had to go ahead and take some medical support. And now he's in one of the mainstream school doing so good, which father never thought. And that father is one of my family friend. So I always taunt him by saying, look, it was your misconception.
Right.
He could have done so much.
Wow.
So the moment when they get the diagnosis, they just put the shutter on their eyes that this child is going to do nothing. Don't do that. Keep trying. Keep trying, and then you will see wonders.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you so much for all that information and such an insightful session. Thank you for joining us today on this episode.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shahnaz, for having me here. And I would appreciate your initiative to go ahead with this topic, which spreads amazing awareness throughout. Thank you.
We just saw this amazing session with ADHD specialist Safiya Mohammed. If you have any comments, please do write to us. You can write us at the comment section of YouTube or reach out to us through our Instagram handle. There will be an email there. You can email to us. Also write to us, what else would you like to see? Till next time, till another episode, see you. This is Shahnaz Mirza signing off, Unfiltered Talks with Shahnaz Mirza.